Time for a victory lap from Steiny.
For what?
I said JT Thor did not play in the NBA. And I was right.
Thor?
He played for a team called the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, look at that. I was right. That's who he played for. We're talking about the South Sudan team.
Oh.
And a couple guys I said in the NBA.
Yeah.
I take the actual lap, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I was wrong.
But don't bury the lead. We're back.
Which
Our
one?
guys are back. We ain't seen them in a week.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, let me guess. Everybody likes the old time slot except me.
No, I text both of them individually that I love this spot. 2 to 6.
Oh, you like 2 to 6?
I loved it.
I mean,
for my life, it was the greatest.
Yeah. Do you want to do a little
gym,
bit of
go get the Just Beat It, the beet juice they make it at the grocery store.
How about this? You could be Kuminga, and I'll be Markkanen, and let's do a trade. You go 2 to 6 with Willard. I'll go 10 to 2 with your guy.
You think they can handle each other? Well, they'd be fighting.
No, it'd be me and Steiny. It'd be you and Willard.
You join me.
Willard.
Join me 2 to 6.
Whoa, Willard.
Who says no?
Oh man,
Not me. I'll pin you less. You have to do less.
Good luck with that. Are you ready for 22% airtime? Is the question.
That's what I just said. You have to do less. Yeah. Join
I don't
me.
know where to start
Less
with you
to do.
guys, but can we just, I'm going to take a crack at it, the Giants. It seems like every batter has the same at bat over and over and over. And he's like, this is what you should have expected. I'm like, nah, you're being too fair. This is not what we expected. 4 under at this juncture.
Right. And
They are boring.
Well, you look at the series, and the first game was the one they should have won. And then on Saturday, they probably could have won. And then yesterday went the way you expected the whole series to go, and you got the 1. So you took 1 of 3 in Denver. Wow, that's really bad.
9 runs in Denver is absurd. That's positively absurd. And as far as like what we were supposed to expect this year, you know, the preseason naysayers are having a victory lap right now, which is like, I don't know, you know, if you go player by player, were the Giants supposed to be great? I guess not. If you look at their payroll, you would say that they should be. And what were they built on? Everyone's still waiting for this identity. What they were supposed to be built on was pitching and defense.
Okay,
because that's what good Giants teams in this ballpark do. You base it on pitching and defense.
I was living in the past.
And the fact that their offense, I know that's what we like to point our fingers at, but if you go by the data of the season, they're a middle-of-the-pack offense, which I'd suggest is actually good enough in this ballpark. A middle-of-the-pack offense is what they were when they won World Series. And you don't want to blame it on injuries because that's lame, but, you know, big part of your defense was your brand-new shiny center fielder, and he ran into a wall. And your brand-new shiny center starting pitcher, Cy Young Award winner, who still hasn't got a win.
Yeah.
And so a bunch of things that they thought were going to go one way have gone the other way, which to me still means that, yeah, there are some things on the table that could go well.
But the math is still there for them.
the math is still there, but the victory lap for the naysayers is also fair. Because look at them. What are you doing? 9 runs in 3 games a couple. What are you doing,
man?
What are you doing at like super urgency time? To the point where the manager, and I'd love to go into a back room and find out how planned that was.
And
like
that's
the
why
manager
I didn't
getting
like it.
tossed before the game even starts.
Dibs, don't leave none in the chamber. Let it out when you can, but I didn't like that. I'm going to do it here.
This team went out and won the game.
Yeah, but see, is that really why they won it? But I
have no idea.
Steiny said the same thing.
They're trying to get their attention, though.
They're 3-1 when he gets thrown out, counting that game. So it's a quirky stat, but in that spot where you can't flip the spread anymore. And shout out Jim Leland, who got inducted in the Hall of Fame over the weekend.
Jimmy.
Old school, you would flip the spread and you'd get mad at your team. But now you can't get mad at your team, much like you can't get mad at your kids, because then, you know, they go into a little bit of a shell. And so you have to, you know, baby it and, you know, velvet glove it and all that. So he did what he did, and maybe it sent a message of urgency, and they went out and they got the win.
4 in L.A. who their starting pitcher, who some guy that I ain't heard of.
Yeah, L.A. is not. They're not great right now. But the Giants,
you think that would help you? It help your chances.
You know what the Giants are though? Like low key, no one's talked about this all year. They're kind of like last year's Warriors. Do you know how significant the Giants' splits are this year?
Home road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the National League, they are a better road team than the Rockies and Marlins, end of list.
Wow. End of list.
Now, as far as a home team, if you are not a division leader or the Braves, the Giants are next.
That's
so
amazing.
they're a solid ball club at home, but they are awful on the road.
So what happens?
I don't know. We decided last year that it meant the team doesn't get along. Maybe they don't get along. I don't know. They don't look like they don't get along.
Wow.
Maybe someone's about to punch somebody.
Yeah.
In practice.
Well, they're also not good against plus 500 teams this year so far. They're 29 and 37.
That was definitely Warrior-like.
Something like that.
Well, and then this weekend, that's what makes it even more alarming is that you were going up against one of the worst teams in baseball, and you should have been able to fatten up, and yet you come out on Friday and you lose a game that you should have won, and then Saturday was in the balance and you blew that one, and then on Sunday, you finally got the win.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the Team USA's near upset by South Sudan?
Like, I hate to do this.
Oh, no, because I think, go ahead.
They're not winning the gold medal, this team. Like, are you kidding me right now?
That's terrible.
Of course they're not winning the gold medal. And every time I say that, whoever I'm talking to goes, well, they better. Or what? What, are we going to have a redeem doc here in 4 years? Look at them.
Yeah.
They're not that great. I know they've got names.
They're not that young
They're
either.
not that great. They're not.
It is alarming.
They're not special in this tournament. They had to rally to beat South Sudan.
Established in 2011.
Yep, good country, good team.
You like the pick?
There is no North Sudan either.
I know. It makes it sound better, though. Like South Sudan, not mid-Sudan or North Sudan. No, honestly, as they sit here and lose to Germany with 4 minutes to go, why are we expecting them to just click?
And not to sound un-American, Steiny ran down the list of the OGs, Braun, Curry, and B. Like, these games in travel, Dibs, we'll be watching early on next year, and I know it's about your country, but it's not good for any of them. What they're expending, and you better get gold. Just me.
It's July. I mean, honestly, if you are expending something that you need in 3 months, then that's a you problem. Honestly, I mean, this is not really them expending that much. I mean, they're 40-minute games, and they're going to play, including these showcase games, they're going to play about 10 games over the course of 5 weeks. Really? Is that going to wear you out? If that's wearing you out, that's a you problem.
I think the problem is that, we have a big pool of players that we pick from. And the guys who are on this team tend not to play unless it's an Olympic year. And so this is just an all-star team that's come together.
Right.
Whereas all the other countries basically have the same team every single summer and play together every single summer. So these other countries practice together over the course of years, and I don't know.
They also care more.
Exactly.
I don't care what anybody says. I love it. We better win gold or else what? We'll see on opening night.
Or else Steph Curry doesn't make $52 million this year.
Kerr's getting beat up on social media and has about his rotations about this tournament. And that's where I'm like, that ain't
beat
fair.
up on social media all last year for coaching the Warriors. Wow. And then he got an extension. I'm sorry. I don't really think anything's on the line here. Like, whatever we want to turn this into in our it's just pride.
Was it still our game? I think we already knew that before this thing.
It's still our game.
Jokic, Giannis, and all the other you talk about the best players. Who do we have?
It's the world's game now.
Okay.
It's the world's game. And if the world wants it more than we do, then we won't win. Right. The one thing I want to ask you guys is, what do you think when Steve Kerr does what he's done so many times, but he does it now at this level and says, you know what? That's on me. I didn't have him ready. I didn't have him prepared. That's on me. How does that make you feel when you hear that? Does it make you think, well, Kerr, I mean, it's just an excuse and, you're trying to take the bullet for the team? Or does it make you think that then maybe you shouldn't be doing the job? Because the more I hear him do that and the more I hear him play that card, the more it kind of wears me out. That's something that should never be said by a coach. Then do it. Then get him ready. I mean, granted, South Sudan, exhibition, whatever, but we've heard him say that so many times, right? That's on me.
I just think
that's interesting.
I think that's part of his coaching philosophy is that you shield your guys.
Right.
And by the way, you getting fatigued with his voice is exactly what his point was 2 months ago when he signed his extension and sort of indicated you're not going to be the Warrior coach for that much longer because his voice is starting to wear thin. It's probably going to be time for a new one.
That's why it was the Derek Jeter, the 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I hear a pro coach say I didn't have him ready or prepared, to me that's strategy and game plan.
For who?
I don't believe Steve Kerr's job, any pro coach's job, is to get their team mentally ready to play. That's just me.
I agree.
I don't need the rah-rah.
I think that's your only job.
What's he got to do?
Go. The X's and O's,
what do they do? You chant USA before they go out and take the floor? I mean, I don't know. I mean, ostensibly the reason these guys are on this team is because they want to win for their country, and Curry wants a gold medal. So and the guys who don't, I don't know how many guys don't have them, but I think that's Kerr saying, guess what? We didn't scout JT Thor as well as we should have.
I mean, a head coach at this level, to me, like what made Phil Jackson so great was not his X's and O's, it's his ability to keep big stars cohesive.
Incredible.
Right, but that's over a whole season. These guys are showing up for a little wackadoodle tournament for 2 weeks.
Right.
You don't need to keep them together.
Right.
There's not enough time for them to even get mad at each other. So, like, I don't know. To me, Team USA head coach
just
is kind
the
of
ball out.
It's a la baseball manager.
Open
How
gym.
about yesterday? Hayden Birdsong struck out 12 and found out after the game that Bob Melvin had been thrown out. He didn't even know that the manager was not managing. So how important is the manager?
But I don't know. I'm old school. I'm like, damn, go get him, buddy. Way to go on your 8th strikeout. But that was telling, like, wow.
12-year-old starting pitcher in his 5th start does not even know that the boss is not in the dugout for 2.5 hours.
It just didn't sit with me well.
I had no idea that was the case.
Didn't even know.
You know what? Good for him because his job.
Focused.
Exactly. Focus. And you know what? 12 strikeouts. He was great. And that curveball, it plays.
No, he's pitching.
The curveball is filthy.
Denver.
So, right.
Why did it curve? It's not supposed to curve.
So it has me thinking about, like, if Robbie Ray comes up, what do you do? Well, for me, Jordan Hicks is the odd man out.
And there's no
then
doubt
if
about
Cobb
it.
comes up, then what do you do?
Yeah.
For me, I want Birdsong in there every 5th day because, and not only because the curveball, but just watching the way he, like, mutters to himself and 22, and he doesn't know really how great he is yet because he's just so dialed in.
My guess, Birdsong's start yesterday did earn him the nod of Hicks to the bullpen.
Yes.
Hicks will pitch tomorrow night.
I'm not mad at that.
And they haven't announced it yet, but Robbie Ray's throwing Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Robbie Ray's throwing Wednesday, and I think after Hicks' turn, you have the doubleheader this weekend, so maybe extra
Against
stuff
who?
Against the Rockies.
Yeah.
They got 2 on Saturday.
Yeah, let's play 2.
I was going to say, that could be, but you got to go do it.
They got
and they've
8
never
games
done
this
it
week.
They've
They got
never
8
done
games.
it all year long. Every time, nothing's infectious. Like they could get 12 runs a game or 12 hits, and it doesn't. You would think, oh boy, 3 runs, 3 in Denver. I was like, whoa.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM, and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. You mean he's going to start? He's starting Wednesday against the
Robbie
Dodgers.
Ray?
Yeah.
Yes, he's going to start on Wednesday.
Okay.
He's going to start on Wednesday, and then what does that set you up for? Does that mean Logan on Thursday?
Against Kershaw.
Yeah, he's back.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
And then, but you have the doubleheader on Saturdays. I don't know how they're going to play it, but yes, I believe that was a big step toward Birdsong, at least keeping the job through the Hicks thing, the Cobb thing.
Yeah.
That comes after the
And
deadline.
Glasnow might be back. Glasnow might be back for the Giants.
For the Dodgers.
For the Dodgers, yeah.
No,
For
for
the
the
Giants
series.
series, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
That's not good. That's 2 guys. I'm just saying.
I mean, I think for the Giants right now, you have bigger fish to fry than who is going up against you. Right now, it's just a question of can you win a baseball game?
Yeah.
And you go to Denver, and you should have won Friday. You didn't. Saturday was winnable, and you found a way to lose it. So right now, you're just trying to figure out how you win games. And if you take 3 or 4 against L.A., then all right, we're back in. If you lose 3 or 4 against L.A., well, now we're talking about who do you sell.
That's my mark this week, 6-2.
Because you've been saying,
I don't care how hard that
you mentioned
sounds.
2 weeks. That was your barometer.
6-2, and you will be 500 by deadline day, and then you can legitimately have a conversation. And I know that sounds very unlikely, and that's because it is.
Yeah.
But that's the mark.
For sure.
Yeah.
And if not, then you're looking at maybe Doval, maybe Conforto, maybe I mean
Chapman.
Exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
Snell.
You're talking
I don't
about
know.
a sell.
I don't think he'll do it, though. I don't think he's got the guts to do it.
Look at you calling out Farhan.
I don't think he's got the guts to do it because it would be it's a no-win situation for him. The world is not going to be like, wow, look at the big brain on Farhan doing the right thing. That's not what the world will do. The world will be like, dude, this is an abject failure. This is an admission of a failure. This is you just now shedding contracts because you went up over $200 million and it looked awful. That's not going to.
Would he win over some people for admitting the failure? Like if that did happen, do you think some would be like, we appreciate the realness?
What do you think?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't. I think Farhan would win people over with one thing and one thing only. Playoffs.
Oh,
winning.
Yeah. No,
yes.
I got him winning the series.
Go to the playoffs.
That happened last week.
And that'll win people over.
Last week we had some fun doing bad takes and stuff, and then we said
we loved that show.
No, that was
by the
so
way.
good.
We loved
that. Was great.
Oh, we have fun.
Because the whole world's driving around going, here's all of mine. You know, I've been thinking about all the stupid stuff I've said in my life all weekend
Did
long.
one come to mind, Willard? Did you have one? I don't know if that's where Steiny was going.
No. I just want to ask Mark about, so a lot of people, like I said, Farhan's not going to get fired. I just said no matter what. It was just putting the cap. Well, that's the point. That's what I want to ask you. Because a lot of the texters are like, oh, way to go out on a limb, Steiny. He just signed a 2-year extension in October. You're contending that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot.
1,000% contending right now that Farhan's job for next year currently is not safe.
That's a lot of percent.
I am firmly stating with a Sharpie today to everyone listening that
1,000% and a Sharpie?
It's not safe.
Joe Horn, by the way, with the Sharpie.
Then I did come up with a hot take because I said he's not going anywhere.
Well, and I agree with you on the surface because I think that, he was asked to do a certain thing, and I think that he did that. He was asked to spend. He was asked for the farm to get better and for attendance to go up, and he's done all that. And the fact that they're losing, for me, shouldn't fall on Farhan. But when you look at the tea leaves and, Mark talks to a lot more people than I do, and you start to think about, like, if they go 78 and 84 and they're 4 games out of the third wild card, what does that mean? It means people are mad, and if people are mad, who bears the brunt? And if you talk about who bears the brunt, it's not going to be Logan Webb, who winds up the year 10-9 with a 3.14. It's going to probably be the Pobo, president of baseball ops.
There you go. Bob Melvin is a hell of a lot safer than Farhan is right now for next year.
Even though he also has 2 more years.
Yeah. 2 years.
But, whatever.
If you're going to give $31 million to a pitcher, are you really worried about breaking off Farhan's last 2 years of his deal if you feel like it's better for your organization,
right?
Both in terms of PR and baseball. And
Robbie Ray's got, 2 more years at 50-something million?
I don't know. Like, are they still giving checks to Tommy LaStella? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. I'd have to look that up, to be honest with you. But bottom line is that's pocket change for the Giants.
Did Camilo make you feel any more confident about him yesterday?
It was a good result. You're facing the worst lineup in the National League, and you still walked a guy.
As soon as that guy got on base,
I'm triggered
on the next batter.
I'm triggered right now by relievers. Dude, throw strikes.
Yeah.
Throw the ball.
That's how it starts.
In the box.
Yep.
You see that little box?
Yeah. One pitch inside
throw the ball
box. Yeah.
In the box.
Yeah.
That's where the ball's supposed to go. Throw the ball in the box. Especially at Coors Field when there's 2 outs and nobody on. I used to, years ago when I broadcasted in the minor leagues, there was a guy. Do you guys remember the name Casey Kochman? Do you remember his first base?
Angel.
Yeah. His dad was the manager of the single A team for which I broadcasted. And he had a rule. He had a rule. And this is minor league pitchers making $4 an hour or whatever the hell they made. He had a rule. You walk someone with 2 outs and the base is empty, you get fined. Fined.
Donnie, I like kangaroo court. I like that.
That's not a kangaroo court. That's the kangaroo court. Usually they vote on that. Fined.
But hey, I like that.
Yeah.
No reason at all to do that.
You're in single A. There's nothing on the line. Throw the ball. in the box.
That's when you need to work on stuff.
Yes.
2 outs, nobody on.
Throw
you can
the ball.
nibble.
Yeah. Throw
Go
the
ahead,
ball.
you nibble.
Throw it in the box. That's right.
You got me thinking about something starting tonight. I don't know what to make of Bo Mail. I like him. But if you're telling me some guys don't like each other, I believe.
I'm not telling you that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not telling you that.
No.
Did you feel that way?
Last year, that was more the
With the
case.
Warriors.
And he
Yeah.
lost
With
that
the Warriors.
with the Padres, though. Remember, he didn't get to. They were infighting, and maybe that was bigger than Bo Mail. But when you brought up Phil, I said Phil would have been perfect for that, and it didn't happen. They broke it apart. But I look at Bo Mail like you were filling out that lineup card allegedly every day with all those bats. You couldn't fix what the Pasoy problem y'all had. And it cost them.
I don't think that last year in San Diego, the players were ever upset with Bob Melvin. There was a much larger situation.
Right.
That is
But
from
with each other.
From the top down, from their GM, A.J. Preller,
right.
who is a jerk.
Okay.
Like that's kind of a thing.
It's not breaking news.
In San Diego.
Yep.
And I think that there's a comp this year, not that, because Farhan's not a jerk, but how he's viewed by the players.
That means something.
He is viewed, I think, by some of the players as somebody who doesn't really understand
that's not good,
baseball and what's going on from the player's perspective inside the clubhouse. There is that thought, I think, amongst some players.
But I would say real quick, Willard, when it's 3-2 and you're at the bat, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Correct.
I'm just, go do your job.
But it does affect the way you approach your day to day. If you are a younger player and you're worried about maybe like I have options and I know someone's coming back and am I going to get shuttled out? And is the president of baseball ops maybe more involved with how much I'm going to play as opposed to my skipper? If the skipper's not necessarily like writing the lineup card every day, who do I really answer to? There's a feeling of unease if you don't know like who your boss is and who your manager is.
And remember, Gabe Kapler was much more an extension of Farhan than Bomel is. So therefore, when the Sean Manayas and Ross Striplings and Michael Confortos of the world were like, dude, y'all told me I was going to this and now I'm that. And Gabe would be like, nice talking to you. I'm going to my office. Like, you guys figure it out. That didn't play well, but that's not Bomel. Wow. Bomel is much more going to look those guys in the eye and say, this is what we're doing. And so I think now that frustration, because how's Jordan Hicks feel about going to the bullpen? He was supposedly promised being a starter. Was it for the whole year? Right. I don't know what was said to him. But that stuff now lands on Farhan. I would look at Bomel in San Diego this way. Blake Snell followed him. Matt Chapman, this is not a coincidence that suddenly the free agents started saying yes when Bob Melvin became the manager.
That's a great point.
Versus Gabe Kapler.
That's a great point.
Like everyone, Farhan finally landed some guys. Well, gee, what's different? That's not a coincidence.
I think what can sometimes be an issue in this case is when you have veteran players and they look around the clubhouse and they say, we don't have enough. And they've been in the league long enough to know that they might not have enough. That's kind of what I worry about. If Matt Chapman is looking around saying, oh, man, we need everything to go right, and their veteran-type players start thinking that, then that's where I feel like it affects the way you come into the office. And, yeah, does it matter when it's 3-2 and the game on the line? Probably not. But it affects your preparation, your mindset. You might not look forward to come to the stadium as much as you would if you're a winner, all that stuff.
Everything you're talking about to me is the word morale. And morale has been difficult for the Giants, I think, for better parts of 2.5 years.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Well, and look at this year. They are yet to have a 5-game win streak. So even when they've gone on a little mini roll, they've lost, and then they've lost more, and then they've bounced back, and it's been such a yo-yo year. You haven't really ever felt like this team is hot, like this team is on a roll. They've had a couple of good stretches, but they haven't been able to sustain it, and it's due to injury and ineffectiveness and however you want to assign it. But I do think that's part of what Mark's talking about, the morale. And here you are in July 22nd, and you've got 8 days to either surge and get help or fade and see some of your teammates go.
Yeah. I got them winning the playoff series. Like, I'm mad at them. It's disappointing, but they got the collective to win a play. I would not. I'm telling you.
All right.
I feel that way.
Because you saw a lot of signs in the first half.
Before you guys leave, can we just do 2.5 minutes on the Aiyuk thing because I was listening to you guys talk about this earlier today.
Well, you ain't got to ask me.
Well,
that's what it is. I'm ready. You got me till 3.
All right, we're booking. Hey guys, book Guru for 2:30.
Oh, Steiny, go ahead.
Well, I thought you guys had a really interesting conversation, and I also have to lay on a sword here because every time I watch another episode of Receivers, my own opinion adjusts. And I think that the 49ers think that Deebo Samuel's more important to their offense than Brandon Aiyuk.
Wow.
I think that Kyle Shanahan thinks that. I have a number of reasons why I've sort of adjusted to that thought. And so it's not that they don't want Brandon. It's not that they won't sign Brandon. Maybe they won't. But the more I think about it, I'm listening to you talk about, and Dibs, you've said, they're not a Super Bowl contender if they don't have Aiyuk this year. Tell me, this is what I wanted to ask you all day. What's the scenario where Brandon Aiyuk doesn't play for the 49ers this year?
Oh, no, that's what I've come to grips with. He's playing no matter what pops off on that field.
They trade him.
Which they're not going to trade him.
Okay, so then there's no scenario.
At 5 teams.
There's no scenario where Brandon doesn't play for because he'd be a moron to not play for the 49ers this year.
Pass up on $14 million.
Well, not just that.
And lose your year and all that.
And lose your year and lose your leverage and lose tens of millions of dollars and then come back next year and the Niners can be like, franchise tag.
So the only answer is if they trade him.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, I think the Niners are chilling.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And you said something earlier about both teams, the Warriors and the Niners, both perhaps being in that same chill mode of, all right, Kuminga, you can play on your final year option and we'll see. And the Niners do the same thing with Aiyuk. And then, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And, both can make a lot of money with great play and both could lose a little bit of money with bad play. I do think, Mark, in closing, Steiny, I know you got the bag on the shoulder.
Bag is on the shoulder. The bag is
overtime.
on the shoulder.
Had to do it for a week.
Baseball has a term, VORP, value over replacement player, and the VORP for Debo is a lot greater than for Brandon Aiyuk. Wow. Because if Debo's healthy, what he brings to them...
If Dibs.
He's been mostly healthy.
I hear you.
He's been mostly healthy.
But he missed the playoff game against the Packers. He was in, but out.
Yep.
Just ask yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look at Ricky Pearsall.
Oh, there's no. I hear you.
Who do you think?
There's handwriting on there.
Who do you think they drafted him to replace?
Not Debo.
Yeah, because Debo is unique.
All right, gents.
All right, gents.
All right.
Have a good rest of the show, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
God, it's good to see you guys.
Right,
it really
guys.
is.
Can I just tell you about how much...
Steiny, it's great to... Bye, Steiny.
Yeah, that's too
funny. What radio station are you leaving right now?
He's leaving
95.7.
the game. Yeah, thank you.